Hi, this is Neelima, Assistant Professor of CSE Department. Today, I am going to discuss about object-oriented programming. Before going to discuss, first let us see the course description. Okay, what are the topics we learn in this course? Okay, in this we learn both C++ and the basics of Java. Okay, both C++ and Java are object-oriented programming languages. Okay, and this topics includes classes, overloading, data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and Java basics, packages, and so on. And next is the object-oriented programming prerequisites. Okay, before learning C++, you must have the basic knowledge of C programming, and before learning Java, you must have the basic knowledge of C or C++ programming so that we can learn easily. And next, before going to discuss about OOPS concept, actually why do we need object-oriented programming? Okay, and before going to discuss about object-oriented programming concept, we have to discuss the earlier approach. Okay, that is nothing but a procedure-oriented programming approach. Okay, first I am going to cover what is procedure-oriented programming language and the drawbacks and how they covered in object-oriented programming. Okay, so what are the limitations? That is nothing but what are the limitations we have arised from our traditional programming language. Okay. Coming to the procedure-oriented programming language, first it follows some structure or format. Okay, that is why it is also called as structure-oriented programming language. Okay, and it follows a top-down approach. C, Pascal, Fortran, etc. are the examples of procedure-oriented programming languages. Suppose we already know that C is called as a procedure-oriented programming language. Okay, in that total program is divided into small pieces called as subprograms or subroutines, which are technically called as functions. Right? So these functions are divided into small pieces that are nothing but a functions. So here we have a main program, and this main program is subdivided into some small pieces. Those are called as a functions. Here we have function 1, function 2, function 3, function 4, function 5, function 6, function 7, and function 8. Okay, and this big suppose if you have a big program, that program can be divided into number of small pieces which are called as subroutines or functions. Okay, when a program is small, okay, it takes low memory. When memory is less, performance is increased. Okay, this is the advantage of dividing the program into number of pieces, and which is called as a functions. So the major advantage of function is write once, use many times. That means which is also called as reusability. Okay, and what is the problem with these functions? We are using functions, okay, right? But what is the problem with these functions? Okay, here this is a global data, and we are having function 1 and function 2. In function 1 we have a local data. In function 2 we have another local data. Okay, and here global data is nothing but whenever the variables declared on the top of the main program, those variables are called as global variables, and these variables can be accessed by all the functions. Okay, and these variables are freely moving. Now the point is, when there is a big program, okay, suppose there is a project work which contains thousands of lines. Now it is very difficult to find out which variable is used by which function, right? So this is the main drawback. The main problem is when data is global, any function can access it. That means that data is not secure, which means not protected. Okay, so we can access the data one function from other since there is no protection. Okay, in large program it is very difficult to identify what data is used by which function. So these are the main drawbacks by the procedure oriented programming. So what I want to make a secure application. That means I want to restrict the data. That is why the concept of object-oriented programming is introduced. Okay, and coming to the object-oriented programming, OOPS was introduced to overcome flaws in the procedural programming language. Okay, whereas in C programming language, data is separately stored and functions is separately stored, and all the functions are having access on global data. Okay, whereas in object-oriented programming language, variables and functions are placed into a single unit, which is called as an object. Okay, and it follows a bottom-up approach in programming design. Okay, in object-oriented programming, problem is divided into number of entities called objects and then builds data and functions around these objects. Okay. It's nothing but in C language what happening means the program is divided into several functions. That's why that one is called as function oriented programming language. In this object-oriented programming language, here the program is divided into several objects. Each object contains its local data and related functions or associated functions. Okay, it ties the data more closely to functions that operate on it and protects it from accidental modification from the outside functions also. And object-oriented programming. And this is the example for that. In object A, we have data and functions together. Okay, where data and functions are stored at the same place. This is object A and this is object B. Data and function are together. And in object C, data and functions are together. Nowadays, everything is object oriented. Even if you suppose if you go to a supermarket, thereafter buying the items, we are getting a bill. Okay, just watch that bill, how it is represented. Suppose there is a big bazaar. Now here something is there. Okay, and we have here the headings like item, quantity, price, amount. Okay, and item A, item B and item C, and these are the quantities of item A, B and C, and price for item A, item B and item C, and next these are the amounts. So after this, it will calculate the sum and it produces the total. Okay, here it's nothing but here whatever there in a circle. Okay, this is nothing but an object A. Okay, this one belongs to the object A. Okay, this object contains only A object details. That means it's nothing but a only A particulars only. Okay, and here B particulars only, and here the object C contains C particulars only. Okay, so this is the concept of object oriented programming, where object consists of data and functions together. And these are some basic concepts of object oriented programming. Objects, what are the objects? Classes, data abstraction, data encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding, and message passing. Okay, so I will discuss all these topics in the next video lecture. Okay, these are the basic concepts. Okay, next, and these are the course content. Okay, this is the syllabus of our course. Okay, we will discuss all these topics in the next lecture. Okay, in Unit 1, we will see the basics of object-oriented programming and the basics of C++. Okay, in Unit 2, we will discuss about what is inheritance and how you will manipulate the strings and what is polymorphism. Okay, in Unit 3, we will discuss about the templates, how you will handle the errors by using exception handling, and streams and files in C++. Okay, and coming to the Unit 4, we will discuss about the basics of Java and exception handling, which is nothing but handling an errors, and the packages. Okay, what are the packages there in Java? And in Unit 5, we will discuss about the multi-threading and managing input-output files in Java. So these are the course contents. Okay, and this syllabus will be covered later. Okay, we will discuss all these topics in the next lecture. Thank you.